Welcome back, and we're now at part 3 of this week's new comics, bitches. So, let's continue. Wonder Woman, number 8. Now you would think, okay, now by this cover, she's got these gold-plated 50 caliber Desert Eagles, twin gold-plated 50 caliber Desert Eagles. She's going to be pumping off some rounds in this issue, right? Not really. You know, those are the guns that belong to Eros. And so basically Wonder Woman she kind of raids Hephaestus's armory, grabs a whole bunch of kind of arcane stuff, but also takes Eros's guns. And Eros is not too glad about this, and so basically it's Diana and Hermes go to hell. They go to Hades. And they are looking for Zola. They're looking for the girl. And they believe that they can hopefully save her. And it's just, you know, they are kind of walking through this hellscape. I mean, there's some really creepy shit. I mean, because when Azzarello and Chang set out to do this title, they kind of said, well, we're kind of doing more of a kind of a mythological horror story, really, than a traditional Wonder Woman tale, because that's the whole thing. The traditional Wonder Woman tales don't really do very well. They're not traditionally very good. And so they needed something to really kind of give momentum to this book, to kind of take it into a different direction. So it's not, I mean, it's not really horror. It's more still action than it is horror. But there definitely are some kind of very creepy moments here, especially while they're in Hades. And, you know, it's a really good, I mean, Chang's art is just, wow, you know, you know, he really gets to cut loose in issues like this. And they ultimately find Zola, and of course Hades comes and he demands something. You know, if they're going to take Zola, then Hades demands something be left behind. Now what that is, I'm not going to spoil for you, but it's quite surprising, and there's a moment which was like, holy shit, what the fuck just happened? That doesn't happen. That's impossible, you know, type of stuff. But and that moment was like, it really coalesced the book, because the book feels like a really short read, and that does tend to be problematic within the framework of the New 52. When it feels like with some of these books there just isn't a great deal of density. Feels like they could be longer, or that there's more story to tell. But ultimately, I don't think that's really a problem in this book, because I think it needs kind of a bit more of a rapid heartbeat in order to keep that momentum going forward. So I mean, I shouldn't say that it doesn't feel like it's too short, but it feels like, okay, well, it is short, but I think it's short for a good reason. Because, like I said, I think it needs some of that momentum going forward, and I also think that Azzarello he's telling a sharper and brisker tale than what we've seen out of Wonder Woman lately. So, and you know, like I said, Cliff Chang's art, I mean, just some really cool moments in this issue, a really good read, very, very solid leaning more towards 4.5 out of 5 for Wonder Woman number 8. So, moving along now to some of my picks of the week. We've got The Punisher number 10. So we've got Rucka, Chichetto teaming up to do their thing, continuing the story of the Omega Effect. First of all, I love Marco Cicchetto's art. He's just fantabulous. There's, you know, we know there's some, it's the little details ultimately that make this book really great, and it could just be kind of great. if it just kind of stuck with the main story. But it's these little details, like, as Daredevil and Spider-Man are making their way towards meeting up with Punisher and with Rachel Cole Alves, that Daredevil stops to help deliver a baby that is coming, and there's this moment where it's almost a romantic gesture by Frank Castle to give Rachel a Kevlar vest spray painted with the Punisher skull on it. It's very strange. It's like it's a strange kind of sweet gesture. It's like, this is the thing that I can give you, because I recognize and I understand your pain. I know where it comes from. You're very much like me, and there's certainly nothing overt about it. I don't even know if there's really anything covert about it, but I just thought that was a really kind of sweet as the Punisher can get kind of touch. Now this is, this obviously, Rucka here he's channeling these three very disparate voices, as far as, as we saw in the first issue in Avenging Spider-Man #6 of the Omega Effect, where we've got to do the voice of Daredevil, we've got to do the voice of the Punisher, we've got to do the voice of Spider-Man. So, we have these, we have one who is obviously fun and kind of freewheeling, but realizes he's teaming up with the Punisher. The guy who puts the in insane. You realize I just said that 3 times in a row. And then you got Daredevil, who can be, he's definitely not closed mouth, but he's definitely more serious. And then you've got Frank Castle, who's very closed mouth, only ever speaks when he needs to. And same thing with Rachel, is really developing her voice as well. And like I said, just these really good character moments, especially when it comes to the moment with Daredevil and Rachel, where Rachel's going to, because they're packing rubber bullets, but she's going to put one in. They find a member of the Exchange. Of course, the Exchange is part of the syndicate that killed her husband and her family and their friends, and she's going to put a rubber bullet right through his eye, and said it'll be just as good as an FMJ or Full Metal Jacket bullet. So, and she kind of and Daredevil kind of talks her down, or does she? Because I think it's there that she discovers maybe some weakness. And of course, the phrase "awesome sauce" is used here, and I love that because I use that phrase a lot. At least not here, though. And I don't even really use it in my daily life, but I use it all the time on Facebook and Twitter because I just love that phrase, "awesome sauce." And there is a great moment where the Punisher does take the time to crack just a tiny bit of a joke at Spider-Man's expense. And of course, we have this climactic moment, this awesome climactic moment where it's like, wait, what just happened? What the fuck just happened? It's like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, brain exploding. I mean, like Wonder Woman, it was just like, wow, I really can't believe that just happened. So, I'm so enjoying the Omega Effect. What a great idea to have this thing, to have this, this MacGuffin that everybody wants, and, to have these 3 very unique characters all trying to make sure that what's done with it is the right thing, and perhaps one of those characters doesn't really want what the others want. And it's fascinating. It's a great read. Rucka, I mean, he just keeps telling these master classes in storytelling, with almost every issue of the Punisher, and this is definitely not an exception. This is a flat 5 out of 5. Just a great title. So moving on to another pick of the week. From DC, we've got Batman number 8. This was... wow. Now basically we've got the Court of Owls, all of their foot soldiers are storming Wayne Manor. Not all of them, but many of them are storming Wayne Manor because Bruce Wayne has been sentenced to die, and anyone associated with him. That includes Alfred. So this is the beginning of the Night of the Owls, the whole sweeping, where it's going to go into Nightwing and Birds of Prey and Catwoman and so on and so forth, beginning pretty much with issue 9 of each of these. Now this did bump up a buck, but I'd rather read $1 more of Scott Snyder doing Batman than $3.99 of even like the best minds over at Marvel doing Avengers versus X-Men for $3.99 standard price. But the reason this is bumped up is because we've got a new backup story now of the Owls, and so we've got Greg Capullo doing the main art for the A story. And like I said, it's basically the Owls are pretty much overtaking Wayne Manor, and this is Bruce's home turf. You can't fuck with Batman on his own home turf. And, so I mean, this is, he's definitely got the advantage no matter what the Court of Owls thinks. And, even Alfred definitely has got some tricks up his sleeve, as we see in that awesome moment with the penny. But ultimately they've got to kind of lock themselves down and try and make this last, because what Bruce wants to do, because he knows that basically everything that the Owls do to keep themselves powered up and to keep themselves essentially almost immortal is extreme, it has to do with that cold seriously, affects its ability. It affects their abilities. So once we get extreme cold going, then they don't die, but they enter this kind of coma, if you will. And Greg Capullo, I mean, he's such a tremendous artist. I mean, like I said, and like other people have also pointed out, it's kind of like Bruce Timm meets Todd McFarlane. Such a great art style. And we've got Bruce being feeling a little stupid because he's been he feels very put upon by this that everything that he believed about Gotham is a lie, and that there are indeed these owls that are out to get them, and they're running things from deep below the city. And I'm really interested to see how this carries over into the titles that I'm reading, because what ultimately we have in the B story, we have Snyder's American Vampire cohort, Raphael Albuquerque, doing the art on the B story, as I knew that he was going to be doing, and I love Raphael Albuquerque's art too. He basically introduces the idea of, well, this is basically more kind of Alfred's story, as Alfred kind of finds this information that one of the owls was carrying, and that is they have this kind of like micro drive that he takes a look at, and it displays what their intentions are, and their intentions are to assassinate all of these very prominent Gotham citizens that are either members of government, from the mayor down to Commissioner Gordon to all of these different people. And it's like, wow, holy shit. The stakes have just gone radically up. So, he puts the call out to the family, to the Bat family, to Nightwing, Red Robin, and everybody, just everybody. And everybody's got to step up and do their part. Amazing issue, terrific art, great writing, really keeps it moving. This is really going to be an event, and I can count on Snyder to do this right. So 5 out of 5 all the way for Batman number 8. We'll be right back. We're going to talk about a little bit more. Stay tuned.